Come on. Okay, go ahead. You're all set.
Great, Joanne, and thank you and welcome everybody to the February 18th, 2026 meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission. I will open with the roll call. Mr. Kiokio,
Here.
Ms. Hostetter,
Here.
Mr. Nazario.
Here.
Okay, we have, that's it for regular members. We have no alternates to seat, and Chairman Finaldi is here. So we do have a quorum this evening. Before I get too deep into the agenda, I just wanted to let everybody know that on the matter of BRT Sconset LLC, it's shown as number 1 under our continuation of public hearings. We did get a request from the applicant earlier today to move this matter until our next meeting. So if you're tuning in for the matter of BRT Sconset LLC, please know that we will not be hearing any testimony or anything else from the applicant on that particular application this evening. I'll read the actual email we received at the appropriate time when we get to it on the agenda. Let the record show the next meeting is a regular meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission scheduled for March 4th, 2026. Please mark your calendars. The minutes of the February 4th, 2026 meeting were previously distributed. Unless there's any discussion, I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to accept those minutes.
Thank you, Bob. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Helen. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The minutes are accepted. I'd like to read the standard Zoom intro before we get started. This meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission is being held on Zoom as a virtual meeting. Even though this meeting is a virtual meeting, members of the public and interested parties continue to have the opportunity to participate in the meeting in a couple of different ways. You can participate via Zoom and see the audio and the video, or you can call in by phone and participate via audio only. Please be aware that we may have to mute your microphone or telephone to avoid an echo or some other background noise. Instructions on how to participate in the meeting appear on the City of Danbury website, and all of the documents and materials that apply to the matters to be discussed during this meeting, including the agenda, are also available on the City of Danbury website. As always, if you have any questions regarding how to participate in the meeting, please contact the City of Danbury Planning and Zoning Department. As a reminder, the entire meeting will be posted on and can be seen on the City of Danbury website. We will follow the posted agenda per standard practice. If prior to the meeting, any questions or comments on agenda items were submitted via email to the Planning and Zoning Department, those comments will be read during the appropriate portion of the meeting. Finally, please remember that technology glitches do sometimes occur. Please be patient if that happens. Okay, looking at our agenda, we have no new public hearings this evening. And the first item shown under our continuation agenda is BRT Sconset LLC, application for revised special exception, revised site plan approval for an existing previously approved cluster development, the Ridgetop, sections 4A, 2B3, 4A6 in the RA40 zone, 10 Damia Drive, F09036, special exception number 589. I mentioned that we received an email earlier. This was an email to Allie from Stephen Sullivan. It was earlier today. Allie, we hereby grant you a 14-day extension, and our team will not be presenting at tonight's meeting. Regards, Stephen Sullivan, PE, from CCA. So, Commission members, unless there's anything else on this application, I'll entertain a motion to continue this matter until our next meeting on March 4th.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Thank you, Helen.
Second.
Second, Bob. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed. Okay, this matter will be continued rather, at our next meeting. Item 2, under continuation of public hearings, Danbury Mill Plain Realty LLC, applications for special exception site plan approval for automobile service station, service garage, and convenience market, sections 3E2, 3E9, 5B2B1, and 9, with a trip generation of greater than 500 vehicle trips per day in the CA80 zone, 85 Mill Plain Road, D14013. Special exception number 805. Again, this matter was tabled at our last meeting and continued until this one, and we will hear testimony this evening. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone in favor?
Good evening. How are you?
Good.
Technical difficulties, of course. My computer was working fine all day until we got here. All right, so yes, this was continued from our last meeting. Just to kind of bring everyone up to speed, obviously. Attorney Josh Pedrera, Cohen and Wolf, on behalf of the applicant Mill Plain Realty. The member of that entity is Sammy Jamal. I don't believe he's here today, although I did send him a link, but in any event, so this project is obviously, this is our application for a special exception, site plan approval for use of the property as a convenience store and retail fueling facility. Now I know this was tabled from last time, so I just want to give the commission a little background. Perhaps some of the commission probably knows the history of this parcel better than I do, as I kind of catch up a little bit from my predecessor, obviously Neil Marcus. But my client basically, so the commission is aware, he's in this business. He has he has a track record of improving and upgrading, these types of properties. He spent a lot of time. I know that he's, worked with the city on variances, across, I think, for the better part of 1 to 2 years already, to get to this point. So, a lot of time and expense invested here, but he's eager to improve the current site. I know historically, I believe this parcel, I think it was a body shop or repair facility, as well as a gasoline retail facility as well. So, and I know it was a significant eyesore. I have met with staff. I've actually gotten, some updates kind of on the history of this. So, I know it's been problematic. So, like I said, he's eager to upgrade this. So what he is essentially doing, he's doing away with the repair facility, the body shop, which obviously is a benefit in and of itself. But he's basically looking to install a convenience store while also continuing the use as a retail gasoline facility. Now, what we essentially have had here is historically, obviously, with this type of use, right, is a pre-existing non-conforming property. What he's essentially doing, in essence, right, is kind of making this less non-conforming, so to speak. Bringing it up to code, basically making this a lot safer, state-of-the-art facility. So what he's looking to do basically is he's going to revamp this whole facility essentially. He's going to completely upgrade the existing infrastructure with respect to the retail gas operation, new canopy, new concrete pad, new piping, new sleeves, new sidewalk along the frontage. And I know there was some comment at the last meeting that we're going to address in terms of traffic, health, etc. So we will take part in that. But just given the timeline here, how we got here today, so we did have significant feedback, as the commission knows. We did respond to that. And I was speaking with Ally. We did provide our responses in revised plans. Now, my understanding is there was not enough time to obviously digest that. So my thought was basically, rather than just kicking this over to the March meeting, we could at least have somewhat of a dialogue here, with the understanding that our revisions and our feedback have not been fully digested by the commission and staff, essentially. So we look forward to getting responses to that, with, I think, the goal for I believe, what is it, the March 4th hearing. Hopefully, maybe not cross the finish line, but essentially we can have everything in order. All feedback has essentially been responded to, provided, and we'll have more of a substantive conversation at that time. But again, I thought this was an opportunity to kind of introduce the project, introduce the applicant, and then kind of go from there and answer some answers from the commission. So we do have Connor McNamara and Larry Webster here. They will likely answer some of the more pointed questions. We do not have our environmental specialist, but she will be in attendance at the March meeting, and I know the commission's probably going to have a lot of pointed questions for her, so she will be available. But again, I wanted to make sure that we at least kept this meeting here today to at least introduce the project, like I said, answer some questions that I know the commission had previously, at least to the best of our ability at this time. And again, once our revised plans and our responses to staff feedback have been digested, answered, hopefully we'll be in a better position come first week of March to kind of pull this all together and get a decision from the commission, or at least get us close to the finish line. So that's kind of what I had for a timeline, so to speak. And then, if the commission wants to reintroduce, I know there were some questions to my recollection with respect to the tanks as well as the traffic report, et cetera. So, we are glad to answer some of those pointed questions and kind of revisit that again with the expectation that we can pull this all together at the March 4th meeting and hopefully get close to the finish line, or possibly get a decision on that.
Attorney Pedrera, forgive me, I've got a lot of paper in front of me. Who is your traffic engineer on this?
So Larry, who authored that? I have it right here.
I suspect it was Steve Ullman. He is traffic engineer, works for Banish.
Correct.
And will you be making a traffic presentation as part of your overall presentation?
Wasn't planning to tonight. I'm not qualified to do that.
Okay. So, but were you, in other words, as you laid out your team to make the presentation, was it your intent to have a presentation from your traffic person?
It was not. We have had very little specific comment concerning traffic levels and so forth from the city, and we've addressed those that we had.
Okay. Okay. So you're okay. There will be no formal presentation of your traffic report. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Attorney Pedrera, is there anyone else in your team that wishes to speak right now?
Well, right now, I guess we can touch a little bit on the traffic. I guess I would say if it's the commission's request, we can, address that more formally at the next meeting, because we are going to have a formal presentation. We are going to have someone there, obviously, to speak on the environmental issues here. So I don't want to minimize that, just to capitalize on what Larry said. We did have a traffic report. The outcome of that was essentially that, there was not a significant adverse impact with respect to specific numbers. I think the added traffic, the added trips, during peak hours, I think was something 40 something trips in the morning, I believe 50 something in the afternoon. But the levels of service, I believe, were A and D. So those levels of service were, they were still acceptable. So from our perspective, I don't think that we have an issue, at least in reliance on this traffic report, with respect to any traffic concerns. And we did respond to feedback, I believe, in the interim on any questions that were posed with respect to that. And I have been in discussions with staff. So some of those more pointed issues we are still discussing offline, specifically the recommendation of a crosswalk across Mill Plain Road. There was also a recommendation for a crosswalk and added features on Westwood Drive, which were implemented into the plan. So again, we have been responsive to that. There have been revisions made to the plan, but beyond that, more specifically with respect to traffic controls, crosswalk, et cetera, on Mill Plain Road, we have been handling those offline with staff, and we have been in ongoing discussions, and we intend to continue that, just so that the commission is aware.
Okay, that's fine. I would request, if it's not a terrible inconvenience, since we have to continue this anyway,
Right.
if the next meeting, maybe you could have whoever prepared the traffic report attend and be available for questions. I mean, traffic on Mill Plain Road is an issue here in Danbury, as some of you know, particularly those of you who live here. I did see our own city traffic engineers report, but most of it dealt with the issue of pedestrian safety. and
Correct.
which is an important issue, but I don't know, pedestrians in crossing Mill Plain Road, I don't see a lot of it. I certainly live in the area and, while I support everything our traffic engineer requested in terms of, pedestrian safety, it's more the sheer volume of traffic on Mill Plain that is the issue rather than, people crossing it. It just doesn't happen very often. It's an extremely busy road. So if it's not an inconvenience, could you have your traffic engineer be at the next meeting?
Sure.
Okay, good. All right. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else in favor? Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application at this time? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Councilman Rotello, go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Not in favor, not against, but just a good time to ask a question. Paul Rotello, 13 Linden Place, Danbury. I'm assuming if this meeting is continued, public comment will be allowed at the continued meeting. That's the question.
Absolutely. As long
Thank
as
you.
the public hearing is open, Paul, we always allow public comments. You can speak now or you could wait till the next meeting.
Yeah, I'd rather wait for the environmental discussion and the traffic discussion. Thank you.
No problem. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Anyone in opposition? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Ali, I saw a lot of correspondence, and forgive me, gentlemen, is it Benesh? Is that how you pronounce your company? Benesh, close enough? Close enough for government work? Okay. I saw a lot of back and forth, a letter to Antonio back in January. There's some other things. I mean, the whole gamut of engineering things. There's some sewers issues, storm drainage issues, landscape plans, watershed, lighting. It's all there. How are we doing? I know that the applicant said they responded, Ally, and I probably, earlier this week. Just let me know how we're doing, how this thing is moving forward.
Yes, so we received the revised plans and response letters on Wednesday afternoon. And as the commission is aware, we were off on Thursday for Lincoln's birthday and then again on Monday for President's Day. So we've really only had yesterday to look at the revised plans and response letters. So that is why we're kind of in this conundrum here. But staff is reviewing the revised plans and response letters, and we should have formal reports ready for the commission meeting on the 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, those will be finalized next week.
Okay. So it's on the conveyor belt and it's moving along. Good.
Right.
All right. Well, in that case, commission members, any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry, Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I guess this is a question for staff first. Were there traffic, maybe I missed it, traffic comments from the Danbury traffic engineer submitted, or I didn't see those. Maybe if you can point to where they were.
They should be attached to a previous agenda. I can send those to you separately, Bob, as
Okay.
well. Vera's traffic comments really focused on pedestrian safety, as was mentioned, and ingress egress patterns to the site. He did not discuss the traffic report in general due to it being a state road and this capacity of the roadway really being the responsibility of the state.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, if you could share that with me so I don't have to go searching somewhere for it, that would be great.
Yeah, Bob, just, I had to go find it. I couldn't find it myself. Ali sent it to me earlier today. I don't know why. I just couldn't locate it. When I say I couldn't find it, I couldn't find our own traffic engineer's comments, but he did make comments. It's dated January 22nd, 2026. Little concerned that in terms of the volume of traffic, the implication was that this is a state road, so there's nothing our own traffic engineer can really do or comment or no report he could write. But we'll look into that. We're going to continue the public hearing anyway, and we'll talk offline about that. And the applicant said they will have their traffic engineer here at the next meeting, so we can sort of get our arms around it next time.
Okay. All right. The two other things, I guess, for the applicant. There was a question, and I don't know if they want to answer it tonight or if you want to table it till the next time with part of the presentation. The first one is the existing tanks are going to be there, and kind of maybe go through the thought process of why everything but the tanks were going to be replaced. It seems like they might be 20 plus years old, somewhere around 2002. So I was kind of confused as to actually when they were put in there. I see some at 2002, some at 2005, or some at 1981, but I think those might be gone. I know they did take some of them out in 2002, but left some. And so if maybe you can give us a history of the tanks, and then the thought process of why everything's going to be replaced except the tanks, you can maybe do that tonight, or if you want to table that till next time, I'm good with either.
Yeah, so I'll defer, and I think Larry and I, Larry Webster, obviously, we have discussed this. We are in a position to address that. I think that was addressed last time, and so again, just to reiterate, the reason why I thought this meeting would be beneficial was to be able to respond to some of those questions from last time rather than to just table this entirely. So, Larry, if you do want to address that, I know we have discussed that on several occasions. And so you can address those concerns if you can.
Yes, I actually,
Larry, if this is Art, if you would just state your name and affiliation.
yes, I'm sorry. This is Larry Webster. I'm with Benish. We're the site engineer on this project, and obviously representing the owner, Danbury Mill Plain Realty. And I have, I think, an answer for you. I wasn't prepared last time because I hadn't spoken with client about the reasoning behind that. Those tanks were put in 2005. They will be this year 21 years old. According to Connecticut DEEP, they have a allowable lifespan of 30 years. And if certain conditions are met in terms of upgrades to the equipment, such as a lot of the things we're planning to do on this project to modernize and update, they should be eligible for a 10-year extension on that. So they would ideally be available, legal to use for the next 19 years. More than that, the tanks that are there currently are essentially identical to brand new tanks that we would put in there. Fiberglass tanks, they're double wall, they're fiberglass tanks, and they don't deteriorate. Connecticut DEEP recently revised their regulations, and if you put new tanks in now with certain monitoring components, they actually accept a 45-year lifespan for the same tank. So there's no big hazard of leaving them in. There is a rather large expense involved in replacing them. And as Attorney Pedera has mentioned, our client is heavily invested in this property. A lot of money has already left the building, so to speak, and that would be an additional burden at this time, which would be a lot easier for him to bear 19 years down the road if he's operating a profitable site. And if it's not profitable, I would assume that they would just at that point eliminate the tanks, which ultimately that's going to be the fate of all these underground tanks for gas stations as we eventually transition away from hydrocarbon-based fuels. So there's no real benefit to him to do this. There's a significant expense on the order of $100,000 just for the tanks, just to buy them, plus the additional cost of taking out the old ones and putting in the new ones. So he's not inclined to do that at this point. He has 19 good years looking forward that he can use them. That's essentially why we're at this. We are where we are.
Can I ask a quick question? Because they haven't been used in a while, I assume they're sitting down there empty. Is there any sort of static testing or a leak testing that has to be done before you can activate them again?
Yes, there is a significant amount of testing required in conjunction with the entire upgrade process. The tanks have to be tested before they can be put back in service. As the piping is put together, it needs to be tested and then ultimately precision tested at the end of the process before the dispensers are put in service. And the tanks will be continuously monitored, both the annular space. They're double wall tanks, so they have a monitor in between the walls that will have to be put into service and verified operational. And they have an in-tank level sensing probe, which will also detect any loss of inventory. So all of that has to be up and operational before or simultaneously with them being filled.
Just a curiosity question more than anything else. When did the world sort of start to transition from the underground steel tanks to these double-walled fiberglass tanks? I know you said these are about 20 or 30 years old. When did that happen?
When did they start? The fiberglass tanks have been around since early 70s, late 60s, at least, in my experience. They've become a lot more popular because they don't corrode, they don't deteriorate. Their lifespan is long. Regardless, any steel tank, even a protected steel tank that's wrapped in fiberglass, suffers from internal corrosion, especially with ethanol fuels, which contain a lot of oxygen themselves. They add to oxidation. Tanks wear away. So the fiberglass tanks are longer lasting. They're a little more expensive to put in. The cost differential between the tanks themselves is not that great. The fiberglass used to be less expensive, but the cost of resins has risen radically in the last 5 years. So they've become a lot more expensive. But yeah, it's just better to put it's just better tank. It lasts longer. So the return on investment over a long time is better.
Great. Well, thank you for that education. I appreciate that.
I'm happy to talk about that. It's kind of my area of expertise.
That's okay. No, I know it's funny. You go, there was years ago, there in Connecticut had this Yank the Tank program, but I'm pretty sure that was for underground fuel oil storage tanks and a residential. It had nothing to do with gasoline tanks. I'm pretty sure of that.
Around 35 years ago, maybe 40, Connecticut started removing underground tanks at gas stations that didn't meet certain criteria. We replaced all the tanks in Connecticut pretty much at that time. And most of them had 30-year tanks put in, tanks that qualified for 30-year lifespan. That 30 years was up about 5 to 10 years ago. We started another wholesale round of replacing tanks, and that's where most of these fiberglass tanks are coming from, this second round of wholesale tank replacements. And I'm actually working on projects right now for people that were able to get the 10-year extension because they already had fiberglass tanks, and that is expiring, and now they have to take them out and put new ones in.
No, I remember that. I remember driving around Danbury, and it seemed like every gas station had some sort of tractor loader backhoe digging down to get the tank out of there. That it like all happened at the same time. I do recall that, but no, thank you for that again, for that background information. Appreciate it. Bob, was there anything else?
Yes, there's a couple more things, if I can. You had mentioned the owner has other properties maybe similar to this. Can you share a few examples of other properties that are either similar to this or compatible with this that that he owns, that so we can kind of get a sense of what those are?
So that is my understanding. However, I cannot identify particular properties. I do see that my client is online, although I'm not sure what's going on back there.
Yeah.
Sammy, can you hear me?
I think his
He's muted, yeah.
Yeah.
audio might be muted.
If he hears us, perhaps. There you go.
Can you hear
Sammy,
me?
how are you?
Hi, how are you?
So, Sammy, the commission. Sammy,
Hold on 1 second, please. 1 second.
okay,
Give me 1 minute.
sure.
While we're waiting, I can tell you that I know of a
Yes.
site in North Haven that is under construction presently, a site in Trumbull that's under construction presently, and we're
Yes.
working on a North Branford site. It's in permitting presently, but he also has several in
I have
service.
in Danbury, we have on Main Street, we have 419 Main Street, the mobile station. We have 464 North Main Street, the exit station, just exit 5 from the 84. We have also another site in Danbury. We have 3-4 sites in Danbury by itself. We have about 20 locations throughout the state of Connecticut, at least. And most of these locations, what we do is we bring all state up to state compliance, up to state compliance gas station, convenience stores to serve the community, with all new things that's in the market these days, I would just like to share a few information, about the tanks that I have heard. We live in a tank doesn't mean that we're gonna just stay with the old tanks. Now, when we're doing the station, we have to replace all lining from the tanks with the new pumps. It's gonna be new pumps, new canopy, new pumps, and a lot of improvements. So the amount of work that's gonna be done to the station from the old new lining on the tanks and the canopy and the pumps and the islands is a lot of work. Because only 2 pumps, we don't need any more space to store it, because if we allow to add an additional pump, then we will consider, having diesel product, and maybe we'll consider replacing the tanks to have more capacity. But because of the capacity, we're only allowing 2 pumps over there at the time being. There is no further need, I believe, to replace the tanks. And I'll be happy to answer any other question that the town have for me.
Yeah, so, on many of your other properties, are they similar to just retail gas and convenience store, or how are they
Yes.
structured? All similar? Do you have kind of the
Yes,
same footprint?
Yes, they all similar. Like the one in exit 5, we did it about 8 years ago. It used to be a 3-bay garage. If you guys remember, of exit 5, used to be an old mechanic shop, and we have converted into the C-store, and it became a very nice property, serving the area. So we do that, we do improve the whole property. And in top of that, as you may see, we are knocking down a part of the building in the back. The amount of area now that we have with the building is much smaller what is in existing.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Chairman, just another question.
Please.
Sure.
I would, I don't know if any of the other commission would like, but I would love to just kind of get a lay of the property and kind of just, if you can put it on the screen and take us through the property and kind of show us around. Other than, because I've seen some of the drawings, and I think they're the most recent one, but usually it's helpful when when the client kind of applicant takes us through it and kind of describes kind of the operation and the lay of the land, so to speak. And if you want to do that tonight, that would be great. And if you want to table that till next time, we can do that as well. I would be fine with that.
So Bob, you're talking about sharing a screen and then just having them walk us through the flow of the property, traffic in, traffic out.
Yeah. It's kind of show the parking spots, the loading zones, kind of just the whole lay of the land. So maybe some of the plantings and just so we can kind of get a better sense of, exactly what's going on there. I mean, I kind of have a picture of it in my eye. I know the property. I go by it fairly often, and I've seen the drawing online, but sometimes with a little bit of description, and it just helps.
No, I agree. Attorney Pedrera, could you share a screen, or would you be willing to do that? Just again, it's nothing more than the site plan and a flyover in terms of the flow in and out. Is that something you could do now, or would you prefer to wait?
I mean, I don't see.
Connor is prepared to do that right
Okay,
now.
Oh, good.
If-
I was
Yes.
gonna pull it up, but if you have it, perfect.
I have it ready to go. I'm Connor McNamara with Benish, one of the design engineers on the project. I can actually share my screen now.
Great.
Let's see. Share this. Get the site plan up. You guys, is everybody seeing this? Oh, wrong screen. One second. One second. Shared the wrong screen. Okay. Is everybody seeing this?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know, Larry, if you want to walk through the actual site plan itself.
If I can get my microphone to work here, yes, I can do that. First of all, you can see the building. And if you zoom in a little bit, Connor, at the back of the building, you can see where the addition is now. That back section is an addition to the original building, and we're proposing to take that down in order to allow us to have unidirectional traffic flow around the back of the building. It also gives us a place for some parking, which we're sorely short on in this site. So that was an important concession, I suppose you'd say, on the amount of part of the owner, cutting down the size of the building significantly so that we can make the site work better. It was very much too crowded before, so we've done the best we can with what we had to work with. Connor, slide up a little so I can get back out to the street, please. We have narrowed the two entrances. This is part of the comments from the city. We also received some preliminary comments from DOT, which we'll be forwarding to staff probably before the end of this week. I don't have a response for them yet. They're relatively new, but they mentioned narrowing the drives and making them unidirectional, east drive in and west drive out only. So that's the configuration supports that, but we don't have all of the traffic marking and signage that we need on here. That's part of the ongoing discussion. See, I'm not sure exactly what you're looking for, but as you can see, we have multiple parking spaces in the rear. We have some down the left side. And on the right side, we have our handicap space, an additional center space next to it. And the northernmost space is also where the air tower is for tire service, which is a Connecticut state mandated component. The dispenser layout in the front of the building is very similar to what was here before. We have moved it closer to the building in order to be able to expand the canopy somewhat. We were granted a variance for the front setback that allows us to fit the canopy on there in this space. We also spaced the islands out a little bit farther apart compared to the ones that are there presently, the islands that are there presently. That's for better traffic flow, more efficient utilization of the small space that we have. The canopy, the reason for the canopy component, the reason it's important to us is, Connor, if you could zoom in a little bit, I'd like to point out these lines around the outside of that concrete mat. Those are actually grooves cut into the concrete, and they are designed to contain minor spills, such as you might have if somebody inadvertently allowed the nozzle didn't shut off and they didn't grab it right away. I mean, they're standing there holding it, but sometimes there's a small, or sometimes people just take the nozzle out of the car and a little bit spills out of the nozzle. Those grooves will contain up to a 3 to 5 gallon spill and make sure that it stays within the concrete area where the attendant in the store can come out and address it with absorbent materials and prevent it from getting into the sanitary system or flowing out into the road or whatever. The center island here is, among other things, is a handy spot to keep a spill kit with materials to deal with small spills. So that's the purpose for that. The islands, the tanks are staying right where they are. We're just putting a new mat over top of them. You mentioned the loading zone, that's out behind the building.
So before you get back to that, could you stay right there for a second? So
Sure.
can you just describe the traffic flow for the pump? So are they gonna?
The traffic,
Did you say that it's a one way in and one way out? So
yeah, the east
from-
entrance is in only. I expect that all the traffic will come in the east entrance and travel down right to left, either behind or in front of the pumps.
Okay.
And then exit out the west drive. This is a huge improvement over the basically non-existent regulation of traffic flow before. If you look down closer to the street, you can see the dashed line inside the island in the front. That's where the curb cuts were before. We closed them down significantly, and we're especially the eastern one to get traffic to do what we need it to do. We have signage there on the east driveway that little arrow is pointing to. Those are do not enter signs, so people can't go out that way.
Mhm.
The signs on the other entrance are stop signs backed with do not enter facing the street. So we have some of the traffic controls in place. I believe we still have a few more things to accommodate here. But we have
for the pumps, you'll be able to dispense from either side, so you can get
from either side, yes.
so 4 cars at a time.
Maximum of
potentially?
4 cars at a time, yes.
Yep, and all of the pump traffic would be going from right to left or east to west?
That is the design flow. I'm not going to tell you that somebody won't figure out a way to get turned around and aim the other way, but
Okay,
but yeah, it's intended that it should travel from right to left, and there will be directional arrows showing that.
yep. I suppose they could come in from the left side and pump and then kind of continue through and around back again to get out, I suppose, right?
Yeah, they can, as long as they do, and
Yeah.
we'll work with the city to figure out what signage we need to make sure that happens.
Okay, yep.
As
Great.
best we can.
Okay, great, thank you. And then can you just show, so people are gonna park in the rear and on the side primarily. So can you show the kind of the pedestrian traffic from the parking spots into the building? Is there gonna be crosswalks and how, I just worry about, pedestrians crossing the traffic from those rear parking spots to get into the building, because I believe it's kind of to the front on the east side, is that?
Yeah, where's
the
the
entrance-
what's the primary entrance to the convenience store? What's the primary entrance? Where is it?
It's on the street side of the store, and it's close to the middle of the store. I don't actually have architectural plans in our set. Those are a separate firm developed those.
Roughly in the middle?
Roughly, yes.
All right, so people that park in back have to walk around to the front to get in there.
Yes.
Okay.
And we would expect that they would walk down the left side of the building because there is a walk there.
Okay. The tricky part of the site is if I pull in, in the way I'm driving westbound on Mill Plain Road, I pull in, I pump gas, and I want to get a gallon of milk. I'd have to leave my car parked at the gas pump to go in and get that because you wouldn't, if you pull in and you pump your gas, you can't pull around back to park, right?
Right.
There's just no way to do that.
That's pretty much what I expect most people do.
Okay.
A lot of people come, park at the pump, run in the store, pump their gas, and head out. Most people don't come to convenience stores to spend a great deal of time. They grab a coffee, they grab a gallon of milk, whatever, a loaf of bread, some cookies, whatever. They're in and out in pretty short order.
Got it.
So if they're gonna go shopping, they'll figure out that they have to pull around back and park someplace. But we don't anticipate as a lot of traffic coming just for the store. It's mostly going to be people who want to gas up and get something while they're there. And
Okay. Thank you.
but that's kind of how life decided that this should work.
Mhm.
Human nature, I guess, decided that.
So will there be like a crosswalk, so either painted or something from those parking spots in the back to kind of, and I'm assuming on the left side of the left side of the building, there's gonna be, that's a walkway next to
There
the
is
building that
there
they
is a
go-
walkway down the left side, and
Yep,
you know, we may
there.
have to we may have to put some kind of signage or crosswalk or something there.
Yeah,
Would not be
okay.
averse to trying to do that.
yeah,
I expect that the back parking spaces will mostly be employees and other people who are coming there for a longer duration.
mm-hmm,
Because if you're just going to stop in the store and you've been here before, you're going to drive around and park in one of these 4 spaces along the left side, or if
Yeah.
you're lucky, grab one on the right side.
yeah, okay,
It's a shorter distance, so
yep, yep. And I see the loading zone back there, and what kind of trucks do you expect for inventory to drop off, to deliver inventory there?
I would defer to Sammy on that if he's still with us.
Sammy, are you still online?
Hmm.
I can't see him in the,
And,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's something that you could share with us next time if
yeah.
Yeah,
fine.
I'm pretty sure they're going to be like a 6-wheel box truck for the most part. They generally don't deliver small stores like this in a tractor trailer.
Yeah, and I thought I read somewhere that they're not going to be preparing any food. I guess at the store, it's just everything's prepackaged and off the
Prepackaged
shelf.
only, no food preparation. Yes.
Okay. Great. I think that's all I had. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
Mr.
Helen,
Chairman,
please.
I just have a few add-ons to some of those, some of that dialogue. So at the pumps, are there 2 lanes for traffic on both sides of those pumps?
On the
Uh,
store side, there is not a second lane. There's not room. There's plenty of room on the street side for people to go around, but we're bottlenecked on the store side. We don't have enough room to offer a lane there.
All right, so if somebody wants to go in and get the milk or have coffee or have a sundae made or something, there's no way of getting around that person if they're in the store then, right? So that might.
Yes, if
be-
there's a person parked in the space behind them at the first pump to the right, and there's not a queue, which would be most of the time, I expect, they can back up and then go around the building. Otherwise, they're going to have to wait for that person to come out.
Yeah, okay. And then another question was, if you have snow like we had, 2 weeks ago, where would the snow plows put the snow, when they plow it?
To an extent, there's a decent amount of snow storage along the eastern side behind the curb there. Presently, some of that is paved. It's going to be green space going forward, but there's a pretty good amount of space there. If they get very much more than that, they're going to have to haul off site. There's no space on this site beyond
Okay.
that.
And we're going to, I mean, I know you're looking at not queuing coming in. to the site, right? So are you comfortable that, there's enough area to maneuver around back here if there is any queuing going on?
There's, I would, I can't tell you how much traffic is going to be there. I can, based on my experience with similar sites, unless Sammy's giving away gas there for $2.25 a gallon or something like that, I don't see this is going to be busy enough to queue more than 1 or 2 cars.
Okay, well, I guess we'll tie this to the traffic report just to be sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No problem, Helen. Thank you. All right. Committee members, and commission members, any further questions or discussion for either the applicant or Ally at this point?
Oh, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Helen, go right ahead.
Actually, I did have one more. I forgot to bring it up. So there were a couple of comments and, questions and, from our staff and about facade enhancements and references to the architectural plan. And the response was, we don't do that. So I'm wondering where that's covered and who would cover that for us if we have questions about either of those.
Josh, I'm looking at you
Yes.
for that one.
Right, yeah, so that'll be from the architect, so we will be prepared to, those are being addressed essentially. So I did speak with the applicant, and I've been provided the architect information to make sure we stay ahead of that. So again, that's not in the purview of Larry, so that's what he's referring to.
Yeah.
So those will be addressed, again, with the ultimate goal of, at the next meeting, we'll have everything buttoned up. Everything will be responded to from staff, including what we anticipate, what I think Ally said should be coming by next week. And so again, the goal is we'll have everything buttoned up by that March meeting. Everything will be addressed. Everything will be responded to from staff. But again, just to reiterate, I just thought, especially in light of the conversation we're having, I thought it'd be important to touch on, a few things and answer some of the commission members' questions in the interim. And then hopefully by the next meeting, we'll stay ahead of everyone's concerns, everyone's questions, and make sure that we tackle all staff feedback essentially on that first week of March.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I
Sure.
appreciate that, and I'll give it back to Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Helen. Okay, one last time, commission members, anything for the applicant or staff? And if not, I'll entertain a motion to continue this meeting until our next regular meeting on March 4th.
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Thank you, Helen. Second?
Second,
Thank you, Bob. Any questions? I'm sorry, any comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Okay, Attorney Pedrera, we'll see you back on March 4th.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Okay,
You as
commission
well.
members, we're going to keep moving forward on our agenda. We have nothing under old business for discussion and possible action, but there are two 824 referrals. The number one is the 824 referral, February City Council Agenda Item number 8, lease renewal for Tango Yankee LLC, parent company, operating as Business Aircraft Center, Inc. at Danbury Airport. Ally, I think you're taking this one.
Yes. So this is just the lease renewal for Business Aircraft Center at the airport. It's the facility behind the fire company on Kenosha Ave. So again, that lease is up and they're just looking to renew it.
And staff has no objections.
Correct.
Okay, commission members, I'll entertain a motion for a positive or negative referral.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a positive referral for the lease renewal with the, declared requirements therein.
Thank you, Helen. Motion made for positive referral. Second? How about it, Mr. Nazario? Second that motion. What do you think?
I second, thank you.
All right, there you go. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? This matter gets a positive referral, and there is a second 824, February 2026, City Council Agenda Item number 9, application for renewal of previously approved water extension for 119 Franklin Street Extension. Ally, back to you.
So this is for Ridgewood Country Club. It is the extension of the water main onto the site is going to be connected to the construction of a new hydrant. That extension is also proposed to be connected to an existing 6-inch private service water line on the site. Again, staff has no objection to this.
Questions for Ally? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for a positive or negative referral.
Chairman, I'll make a motion for a positive referral.
Thank you, Mr. Kyokyo. Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Helen, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This second 824 referral gets a positive referral as well. Thank you, Ally. There's 2 items under new business, Western Connecticut Council on Alcoholism and Ippoliti Industrial Realty. Take a look. Those are going to be coming up in future meetings. And nothing under correspondence. And there is one other thing under other matters for discussion and possible action. Request for 5-year extension of site plan approval for SE 781 Danbury Proton Facility, 85 Worcester Heights Road. Ally.
Yes, so I'm sure the commission members have been seeing this in the newspaper recently. So the commission approved the grant of special exception and site plan for this back in July of 2021. That site plan approval was valid for 5 years and it's set to expire July of this year. The applicant was unable to construct within the original approval timeframe due to the time it took to receive a certificate of need from the state. That certificate of need was received January 17th of 2025. And then as noted in this letter, it's anticipated for an 18-month construction period, which would not be feasible within the time limitations of the original approval. So they are requesting an additional 5 years to fully construct this project. And staff has no objection to this.
Yeah. Okay. A little curious as to why it would take so long to get a certificate of need. I guess this is a, I believe my memory, this is a while ago. This is a cancer research facility, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Danbury Proton Facility.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a lot of pushback on the need. It's kind of a very specialized I guess operation. So there was a lot of pushback there. So it took them a while really to
Okay.
there's a lot of back and forth. I kind of followed it a little bit throughout the years.
Yeah, Megan, we don't normally have testimony on these types of things, but if you want to give us a quick education, I think that's very forgivable.
Of course. Hi, Megan Miles for the record. I'm the attorney who wrote the letter for the extension request. I'll also note that Stephen Courtney from Danbury Proton's on the line as well if you have any specific questions. But my understanding is that they had actually filed for the certificate of need either shortly before they received the original zoning approval or during the process. I think it was denied actually, and then they had to refile and start the process. And it was the second filing, the refiling, that was approved in 2025. So that it was actually a multiple attempts to get the certificate of need that eventually was settled, I think, with the state, and they issued it.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Mystery solved. Anything, Mr. Courtney, you want to add to that, or are we good?
No, we just thank the Lord that we finally got our approval. It was a long process. As many of you know, we were very transparent about the process. Our website, regularly posted the latest press, the latest bump that we had to go through. But fortunately, we finally got there, and now we're just putting all the final pieces together, and one of which was actually having the city become part of the bonding process. And we're very close to having that resolved as well. So we hope to be actually starting construction within the next few months, and won't need 5 years to do this at all. But that's the way it looks. But and I know this commission was very helpful when we first came through. We had unanimous approval from this group, so we appreciated it. And Arnie, aren't you still at Lee Farm up there?
No, we shipped out. We went over to the summit. So Mr. 1.2, and he shipped out. So at one time we had 2 of us there, but not anymore. Anyway.
Very good, very good.
Wish you the best of luck up there. Okay.
Thank you.
everyone.
Commission members, the request is for the 5-year extension, and unless there's any other discussion, I'll entertain a motion for or against the 5-year extension.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to request approval for a 5-year extension of the site plan, from this group.
Motion made to approve the 5-year extension. Do I hear a second?
Second,
Second, Mr. Kyokyo. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The 5-year extension is granted. Good luck, folks. Wish you the best of luck over there.
Yes.
Okay. Nothing under for reference only. There's a few things you could take a look at. Nothing that we need to discuss this evening. And unless there's anything else, commission members, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Chairman, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, Helen, thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.